Well, our top story, the Chinese telecommunication giant Huawei is facing the heat globally after the arrest of its CFO in Canada last month. Huawei has found itself under extreme scrutiny, especially for its 5G network. Now, America is mounting further pressure. Reports suggest that the Donald Trump administration is pressurizing American allies to bar Huawei and other Chinese technology companies from building their 5G infrastructure. The US is reportedly asking its allies to ban Huawei from building the next generation computer and phone networks. The UK, Poland and Germany have been asked by the United States to bar China-based companies from building 5G networks. Huawei is under mounting international pressure about the security of its technology, even though there is no proof. Huawei is under scrutiny for allegedly using its equipment to provide backdoor access for the Chinese government. Since 2012, Huawei has been barred from selling equipment in the US because of security concerns by the US government. China has responded to these reports and urged the United States to stop what they call irrational behavior. Beijing has urged Washington not to hamper the progress that is being made by the two countries after the trade war.
我们敦促美方停止对包括华为在内的中国企业的无理打压，为中美企业相互投资、正常合作提供公平良好的环境，多做有利于中美互信与合作的事情。
And China has accused the United States of orchestrating Huawei CFO's arrest in Canada. It continued to maintain the narrative and urged Canada to take the right decision on Meng Wanzhou's case.
你提到的这件事情是加方的内部事务，中方不予评论。我这里要指出的是，孟晚舟的事件绝非一件单纯的司法案件，背后有很强的政治企图和政治操弄。我想中国人民和国际社会对此看得很清楚。这次我们在这里，我们要再次敦促加方做出正确的抉择。 立即释放孟晚舟女士，早日让她平安地回到中国。
And Patrick Falk is joining us live now from Hong Kong for the very latest on this. And now, Patrick, well, the nervousness about Chinese technology has long existed in the US, but is this a fear of cyber warfare or a fear of economic dominance of the telecom space?
In Beijing, in fact. But I think to answer your question, I think it's very clear that it's a little bit of both. And to answer exactly why, you have to understand the capacity of 5G and the importance of it. And controlling 5G networks really means having control of an entire ecosystem. It's been described by one analyst, at least, as being almost as important as electricity. And the fears are in the US that if China dominates 5G networks, then it will have control of an entire ecosystem, an entire nervous system. And as we know, that is going to be critical in an age where it will have control of all data transfer and transfer of information. And we know already that Donald Trump has made it clear that he sees it as being a little bit of both, and the two are very closely tied together. So on one hand, he wants to balance trade and dominate, or for the US at least, leads the world economically. But this is also, in his view, about putting a check on China's military power. And this isn't lost on China either. Only about a week ago, we learned from reports that China, for the first time, has its land power, its army, effectively, is no longer more than half the size of its overall security forces, and so that its cyber security plays a much more prominent part of its national defences than ever before. The question is whether or not what the US is doing is right and fair.
Right. Right. And Patrick, then that of course brings us to the second question, and the US is known to push other nations as well. And are they going to follow suit and risk, well, inflaming China, which could hamper their own access to the growing Chinese market and deprive them of cheaper Huawei products as well?
Well, it's very difficult to see or say how China is going to react exactly, but certainly China appears to think that it is being unfairly treated at the moment. And as we know from the reports, no smoking gun has been found so far. The US, as you mentioned, has long had concerns that Huawei is being used to spy on its citizens through backdoor technology on its chips, but that has never been proven beyond any shadow of doubt. And the only suggestion that there has been any link so far between Huawei and the government is that this Huawei executive that was arrested in Poland. And even Huawei distanced itself from the executive and let him go very shortly after his arrest in Poland. Yes, indeed, many countries, particularly in Europe, they're being put in a difficult position of having to choose between the two.